From morning till night on the phone and the sales still don't happen? Perhaps you are doing something wrong. Let's see what mistakes a sales manager can make and how to avoid them. Before, subscribe to the channel, press bell and like button to be updated, and let's go. Mistake number 1, reading thoughts from a distance. Are you psychic? It happens that the manager begins to think for the client and assumes what tasks he wants to solve and what limitations are stopping him. The client said a couple of phrases and the manager already concluded, oh, no time for training and not planning to. It happens that such quick assessments that are associated with shortcuts. For example, talking to a pensioner, a mother on maternity leave, or a student in advance assume that they do not have money for expensive training. How not to make a mistake? Don't assume. Ask. The more questions you ask, the better you will represent the client's reality. Helpful questions such as what outcome do you want from the training? What are your goals and objectives? How would you like to learn? At what pace? With what workload? What is stopping you from making a decision? Mistake 2. Calls at the same time. It's not worth it to get through once. For example, at 12 o'clock the next day when you call at the same time. How not to make this mistake? It's obvious. Find out what city the person lives in. This information can enter, for example, in the registration form for the webinar. In addition, there are services that help identify the phone number to determine the city and local time. Try calling at different times, at 10, 3, 7 p.m. local time. Perhaps the person isn't picking up because they don't have access to a phone during business hours. Next one, phone calls, hardcore only. Calling, not using other ways to reach a customer is a big mistake at a time when so many people simply don't answer calls from numbers they don't know. How not to make this mistake? Send a message via Messenger or email, and better do both. The text could be something like, hello, I'm Jessica, your personal manager, AnyBiz. We received your reservation for a demo call, but unfortunately we couldn't get through to tell you more about the service. Could you please tell me what time would be convenient for us to talk? Next mistake, interrupting the client. Imagine a situation where a client tells you, for example, about their request, has been talking for about 3 minutes, talks about the nuances, and you at some point interrupt and say, yes, this is you get by buying the subscription. When are you going to pay? What are the chances that you will close the deal and the client will like the service? How not to make this mistake? And don't do this mistake. Listen carefully if the client is willing to communicate and talk about their goals and objectives. Ask clarifying questions. Such conversation is an available source of information about your target audience and their needs. Ask open-ended questions, that is those to which the client will not be able to answer only yes or no. This way you will get more information. Take your time. You should not try to sell on the first content on rush through the conversation because you have 50 more clients waiting for your call. If you are at the beginning of an introduction, it's better to just tell them about the company's capabilities and show them how you can be useful. Defending your point of view. Arguing with client, proving your point and accusing them of something. For example, they don't want to buy your product and thus change their life for the best. This is a huge mistake. So you risk not only losing the client but also damaging the reputation of the company, which is a disaster. How not to make this mistake? Easy. Don't argue, never. Even if the client accuses you or the project of unprofessionalism, poor service, global warming, zombie apocalypse, to all these accusations, it is better to simply answer, thank you for your opinion, we will try to be better for you next time. And remember, you don't want to win the argument. Your task is to help the clients choose the service that suits them and solves their problems. Not calling back at agreed time. Imagine that you have agreed on a time to talk, the client is waiting for your call, and silence. What do you think their opinion is of you personally and of the project in which you work? How not to make this mistake? Very easy. Set an alarm, a reminder, or whatever, and call exactly at the time you agreed. The client will appreciate your punctuality and seriousness. And in general, always agree on the arrangements. They promise to send the contract within 5 minutes. Meet the deadline and send it. Promised a recording of a webinar? Send it, and the sooner the better. Not one step without the script. Communicate strictly and only according to the script. Be like a robot. There will be no sales if there is no emotion. So, the script allows you not to forget anything important during the conversation. Use it as a guide, but not as a text that must be memorized. Listen to the client and respond to their questions and requests. Be a caring and interested interlocutor. This is much more effective than working from a script. The next one, not asking for reasons not to buy. If in response to "thank you, but I won't buy it," you reply, "okay, clear, have a nice day," you are missing out on a sales opportunity. So what should you do? Be sure to ask what the decision is about. Work off objection that the client will raise. For example, in response to "no money," you can talk about installment plans and special promotions. As in answer to "no time," you can tell about time-saving service you provide, and afterward, the client will see that performing basic tasks will be much faster. Arrange for continued communication. For example, you might say that you will contact the client in a month if at the time the issue of purchasing will be more relevant to them, or that you will send additional materials so the client can evaluate the value of the product. Not interested in the client's history. Who is your client? What city or country do they live in? Where do they work? And why are they thinking about lead generation tools? Is this their first experience, or have they already used any kind of email service? Without knowing the details of how your client's life is structured, it's hard to make a sale. How not to make a mistake? Ask as many questions as possible. Any questions will help you choose a strategy in the sale. Write down communication details, client biography, fears, communication things, and pains. And the last one, agree to endless postponements of the conversation. When you endlessly go on and on about a customer who carries over time after time in communication or payment, you are wasting your time. Don't do this way. How to avoid this? After 3 postponements, ask if the customer is really planning to buy, and if not, just don't waste your time. AnyBiz understands how to assist you in achieving your specific goals step by step. Don't believe? Book a demo call and find out how AnyBiz automated lead generation tool can help you find more clients and close the deals with them.